Welcome to Staying Alive with
Anita.
and Kevin.
Hey, how you doing? We are going to talk about gravel racing today, right?
Gravel bike racing.
Gravel bike racing, okay. You've done a little. Okay, you've done a little bit of bike racing so far, a couple of firsts for you.
Right.
And you've just been involved in one that's even more of a bigger first for you.
Right.
Longer distance and more hilly.
A lot of climbing.
A lot of climbing. So what particularly is gravel racing?
So gravel bike racing is very similar to road bike racing, but it's just what it implies. It's gravel roads. It's single track trail, fire roads, county roads. A lot of times there is a little bit of asphalt involved getting from one section to another, but the majority of it's always going to be dirt roads or gravel.
So on the average gravel bike race, is there a distance that's an average, or is it just, are they all different? Or
there's some standards. They come in a lot of different shapes and styles. I mean, the standard race, I would say, is probably a 100-mile race. That's kind of what everybody thinks of when they think of a gravel race. They think of a century ride. Usually at most of those races, they have a 50-mile option. Sometimes they even have a 25-mile or a junior option. And then there are races that are longer. One of the most popular gravel races is the DK 200, which is a 200-mile race in Emporia, Kansas.
that's cool.
They have them upwards from there even. There are some transcontinental and some other races on top of that. Yeah. So 50 to 100 miles is kind of the range, kind of the standard, yeah, with some variations.
Does it take a special kind of bike to do a gravel race, or is it just like something that you would run on the street?
You know, you can really get started with about anything short of maybe a full-on road bike. A mountain bike that you already own is a great place to start. Very popular bike, like what I ride, is a cyclocross style bike that's been modified and adapted with usually wider tires and some different gearing to run gravel races. You can do it on a road bike if you've got room for a little bit wider tires. It's really the tires that are going to get you on that. With the uneven surfaces, the roughness of it, needing some traction, a wider tire is really a lot better and very beneficial.
So a wider tire, I mean, one of the tires you have is really a slick tire.
Yes.
Are you talking wider knobby, wider slick? It's
wider, yeah. You really need a wider tire to absorb the impact. The skinnier the tire, the more air pressure you have to run. So going to a wider tire allows you to air the tire down to support the same weight and gives you a lot more cushioning on that rough surface that's a lot different than the asphalt is.
Right.
And yeah, my tire is a slick. I have just as much surface contact with that tire as I would with the knobby tire. So
yeah,
you see about a 50-50 mix out there.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. I guess I was expecting like a big old knobby thing like a mutter truck would run.
Yeah, and there are some conditions that call for that, but for the most part in the dry, that slick will do everything that a knobby will do for me. It'll give me, again, as much contact with the ground as what a whole bunch of small knobs do.
So the race that you have coming up this weekend in the Ozarks, how is it different than the one you did just a week or so ago, just over here in the Topeka area on the dirt roads?
Right. So this one's called the Epic, and it's kind of known as the Epic for a reason. The full race is 150 miles, so it's a very long race.
Right.
I'm doing the short version, which is 90 miles, so almost double what we did in Lawrence, and there's a lot more climbing involved. There'll be 5,000 to 6,000 feet of climbing for the 90 miles, so it's gonna be a long day.
Are you doing this more as a test run to see how you do on this kind of thing? Are you expecting to just whiz right through it?
I wish I could whiz right through this one, but no, I'm still trying to find the pace I can run at without running out of energy, without hitting the wall, and what nutrition I need to take on. So
Right.
I pace myself with a heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
The last two 50-mile rides I did, I got through okay, but I didn't have anything left. So I'm gonna have to back the pace down a little bit on this one and try to maintain my heart rate a little bit better to be able to go the distance with the additional climbing and the mileage both that's in there.
Right. So you're still trying to do this fat adapted. You're not
Yes.
wanting to take on all those. You showed me a picture of a bicycle that had the rail on it in the middle, and it had like packets of sugar gels taped to it that they were supposed to eat like every hour. I can't imagine sucking down sugar.
Yeah.
That makes, wow, that, for health benefits, I can't imagine that being good.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard thing that's been done, and there's still, a lot of controversy about what we do and being a fat-fueled athlete
Right.
or a fat-adapted athlete.
Right.
And I do take on some carbs. We have a starch-based carbohydrate energy powder mix that I take on, accordingly. But it doesn't give me the insulin spikes
Right.
that a straight sugar does. It's actually no sugar involved. It's a pure starch product.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think our kitchen cabinet kind of looks like a science experiment
kinda.
before before the race, because we're, all of these different bottles that you're drinking and stuff before and during and
Yeah.
after. And in this race, you're wanting me to be at the stops to give you the proper kind of nutrition that you're trying to run on, for fear that they won't have it there.
Yeah, you're going to be my SAG support at this race. That is
Thanks for it.
one difference between the gravel races and the road races. Gravel races are pretty much self-supported. So for the 90-mile race, there are two locations where I can take assistance, where you can meet me. Any other place on the course, and it would be a disqualification. So those two locations, they will have stands set up where you can get water. They will have a certain amount of food, gels, power bars, Gatorade, all that standard type of product.
Right.
And you will meet me there and help me resupply what I need and refeed and
Considering
then
you're not wanting to
reload.
take on that food, then that's
Right.
why I'm going to help out.
Yeah.
So,
And I won't have to try to carry a full 8 hours worth of stuff.
right. So you expect
one
this to
time.
take 8 hours?
Yeah. I'm kind of planning on a 6 to 8 hour day. So
Right. Right.
and hoping we can complete 90 miles.
Right. Well, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Is there anything else that you would like to tell everybody about, or is there anything I've missed?
No,
You know,
just
not very-
start where you're at. Like we always say, when I first started, I probably wasn't ready to jump on and take on a 50-mile race, but with a lot of work and time, it doesn't take that long to get there, and you'd be surprised what you can do. So we always say start where you're at, but
Right.
start now and get
Well,
outside.
I rode my bicycle to about 2 miles the other day.
Right, there you
Just
go.
down the road, but we kind of have hilly roads here, so
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a challenge for me. I hadn't been on a bike in a long time, so anyway, I think that we're gonna have a lot of cool clips to show, hopefully, at the end of this, and you know, I'm anxious to show people what you can do.
Thanks.
You bet. We're gonna have a good time.
You bet. So,
Hey guys, it's a chilly morning out here this morning, getting ready for the epic 150. Kevin is going to ride the 90-mile race up and down the hills, and it looks like it's going to be quite a challenge. We're starting this morning, and it's going to be a really long day.
We're just
especially for
over
him.
1 minute
So-
until race start.
It's 1 minute till race starts.
Want to wish
Here we
all
go.
of our competitors best of luck today. Remember, it's all about having fun. 3, 2, 1, epic! And we're off 90 miles of racing ahead throughout mid-Missouri's most challenging level terrain. Welcome to all of our competitors. There are some big names in this field. A lot of stories will be shared today. Best of luck to the racers.
So I want to give you a quick follow-up and a race report on the epic gravel bike race that I did in the Ozarks. That was a 90-mile gravel bike race with a lot of climbing. I started the race with a very definite plan to pace myself based on my heart rate and had my nutrition, my food kind of scheduled to match that. I was caught a little bit off guard. I knew there was a lot of climbing, but the steepness of the grades and the length of the grades, I really probably wasn't quite prepared for. I was seeing heart rates up around 175 beats per minute just trying to get over the climbs. And I actually, my Training Peaks account sent me an email message the next day. I actually, during that race, set a new 1 hour sustained heart rate threshold 5 beats per minute higher than I ever had, which was kind of funny considering I was trying to maintain a low heart rate so I didn't get into a carbohydrate need and could run off fats for fuel. And it didn't work out. I actually wound up pulling out of the race at the 20-mile checkpoint. The next checkpoint after that was 60 miles, a little over 60 miles. I felt like I could probably make that checkpoint. I was still good at the 20, but I knew already at that point it was taking so much out of me to complete the climbs that I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to do it, or if I wasn't going to be able to complete it, Nita wasn't going to be able to get to me because of how poor the road conditions were. We had a pretty good thunderstorm came through that morning. It was incredibly muddy. It was a very, very rough course. It was a very backwoods course, not really good gravel roads. And not taking anything away from the race was awesome. It was beautiful scenery. It was a fantastic course. It was incredibly challenging. It's called the Epic for a reason. I just straight out was not prepared for that level of a race on my second ever gravel race, and it was a very difficult decision to make, to pull out, but at the time, under the circumstances, given everything, I felt like it was the best decision I could make. It wasn't worth pushing it and risking an injury at that point for a race that I knew I wasn't going to be able to complete the whole 90 miles. 60 was going to be my limit that day. So that's it. You know, again, taking nothing away from the race promoters. They did a great job. It was truly epic, and that's what it was designed to be. It was just a little more than I could do on that time. I'll get back on the bike and do another gravel race here in a week or so, another 50 miler, or try it, start it, and we'll keep training, we'll keep working out and getting stronger, and one day I'll come back and finish that one. So, please share our video.
Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell down below. And we are on Facebook, and you can check us out there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Kevin would love to answer them for you, I'm sure.
Yep.
I don't know anything about this.
And if you got any ideas of things you'd like to see us do or try or talk about, please let us know. We'd love to have your comments and your feedback.
All right, see you next time.
Bye.